Roughly once a year, a Victoria Cross comes up for auction in one of the London sale rooms. It is by far the greatest of all Britain's awards for bravery in the face of the enemy, and the bidding is always keen. Year by year, the money the medal will sell for goes up and up. Such is the price of valour. The VC was created by Queen Victoria more than 100 years ago. The museums of the fighting services, like the National Army Museum at Sandhurst, commemorate the deeds that have won it. In all, the VC has been awarded to 1,343 men. 3 of them won it twice over. Sometimes it seems to run in families, as with Lord Roberts and his son, who won it 14 years apart. The father for saving the regimental standard in the Indian Mutiny, the son in the Boer War. More than 200 holders of the VC are still alive in Britain and the Commonwealth, a corps elite if ever there was one. They are men of every conceivable walk of life, for the Victoria Cross is the most democratic of all honours. It takes pride of place over all other decorations, for its holders are indeed men apart, men who've shown utter disregard for self and disdain for danger, whether at sea, in the air or on land. The accepted leader of the VCs is Sir John Smythe, who is head of the Victoria Cross and George Cross Association, and won his own VC back in 1915. Author and Member of Parliament, it was Sir John who a few years ago secured an increase in the VC's tax-free grant from the traditional £10 a year, which had become paltry on modern standards, to £100 a year. Many of us might think that this is still not enough, but Jackie Smythe, like all VCs, doesn't want to see the award become commercialised. In their private lives, he and his wife are great cat lovers, and one of his books is about his 4 Siamese pets, which share his desk with his medals and his mementos. This is the box in which his cross was first contained, a simple cardboard case worth only a penny or two. That case is part of the magic of the VC, which is priceless yet has no real value. It has always been supplied to the services by one particular firm of London jewellers, who've always been in charge of its manufacture. The cross itself is made from bronze. Its metal comes from an old cannon that was in action at Sebastopol in the Crimean War a century ago, and a piece of the barrel is kept in a safe in the West End in case there should ever be an order for more crosses. The last 4 VCs to be awarded were gained in Korea. 2 were awarded posthumously. To Private, now Sergeant William Speakman of the Black Watch, went the distinction of winning the 1,346th and so far the last VC. He is the only serving non-commissioned VC in the British Army today and is the youngest holder of the honour alive. Among other things, he's an official photographer for his regiment. Like most of his kind, Bill Speakman is a reluctant talker. VCs tend not to say much. He never mentions the night in Korea in 1951, when he organised and carried out a series of grenade attacks on the enemy, although badly wounded. He showed what was called a supreme contempt for danger and an amazing capacity for leadership. A few days after Look at Life filmed him here, he was off to Aden on active service. By the very nature of things, VCs are getting older. Their average age is now approaching 70. Many are broken in health, some are poor, and the small life pension comes in very useful. Spencer John Bent is one of the lucky ones, blessed with good health, doing his modest job with keenness and with the dignity of the old soldier. He works as a commissioner in a brewery near London's Tower Bridge. He was a drummer in the East Lancashires when the First World War broke out in 1914. A few weeks later, he took command in desperate fighting after his officers and all his seniors had been struck down. What was officially called his conspicuous gallantry enabled the position to be held. He then went out and brought wounded back into cover. Men like these are a breed. We can feel proud of them. Today, Company Sergeant Major Bent, who was promoted on the field of battle, is in his 70s, fit, upright, and full of enthusiasm, the very embodiment of the traditional CSM. Every few months, the committee of the VC and George Cross Association meets in London at St. George's House in Belgravia. Such men as Harold Woodley of Hill 60, now a clergyman. Jock Christie of the London Regiment. Captain Godfrey Place, Midget Submarines, still a serving naval officer. Jack Easton, George Cross winner. Henry Foote, tank victor from Libya. David Jamison, the Royal Norfolks, won in Normandy. Here are men whose deeds rang round the British world. When General Sir Lewis Halliday reached his 90s, he became by far the longest-lived holder of the award. He won it in China over 60 years ago. Odette, the wartime resistance heroine, is a holder of the George Cross and a lively committee member of the association. When their meeting is over, the party drives off to lunch at the invitation of their chairman at the House of Commons. On the day when the latest Victoria Cross comes up for sale in the London auction rooms, Thomas Gould, Gould of the Thrasher, decides to take a few hours off and see the sale for himself. Gould was a petty officer in submarines during the Second World War, and he and an officer pulled live bombs out of a gun casing when they surfaced during an action in the Mediterranean. Today, one of the youngest VCs, he's still on the bright side of 50. And soon it comes up for auction. A bronze medal, a little bit of cannon worth only a few pence, won by a forgotten hero in the Sudan, a man who's long since marched into history.
£900. Sold then at £900. Hold on, 900.
£900. The price of valour, ticked off tidily in a catalogue in a sale room. £900 for a gong. But what a gong.